Hi, it's Chris from Bridges Properties here. Today I'm with Morven, our head of business. We're going to catch up about all things Bridges. Morven, you
Hello.
are the go-to woman for everything here at Bridges. You're mine and Melissa's right-hand woman. So
I tried to be.
you are the person that is in the know here. So I thought I would just catch up with you to get give a wee update, I suppose, on where we're at with all things Bridges right across the group, as we can now say.
Yeah.
You know, it's been the estate agency up to this point, but right across the group, just to give us a wee update on kind of where we're at and how things are going.
Super exciting time for the business. So when I joined, and I always tell this story, when I joined, there was literally six of us. I made team member number 6. We're now on team member number 16 in the last 2 years. So that in itself is really exciting. And obviously that's been with the kind of launch of financial services and property management as well. And, we were just talking the other day about, if someone had told us this time last year we would be where we are today, I think we would have said, give us that all day, every day. So it's really exciting. That reflection piece that we always talk about is so important, to kind of stop and reflect back on where we've kind of came and where we are now. So currently sitting with a strong team of an estate agency, super great team, totally bought into everything that we're doing. Of course, recently just launched financial services, which is really starting to come together now. The team there are really starting to kind of find that structure and organisation, which is kind of flowing through to our clients and their experience and things as well, which is really great to see. And then of course property management as well, which is really, really exciting. Even the estate agency team are so bought into that, which is making it just that even that wee bit more exciting. So really loads and loads of exciting things happening in the business.
Good stuff, brilliant. I'm glad to hear it, and it's great to see the energy seems high now as well, which
Absolutely.
is good. And I suppose we've found that team settlement for that we've been kind of looking for. It takes a special type of breedy person to succeed at Bridges, and I think we've found a bunch of crazy enough people to kind of be bought into that.
That's something we've struggled with, I would say, over the last couple of years, actually, probably the last sort of year and a half. It's been a bit of a struggle trying to find that settlement, making sure that the right people are in the right seats, really. And or as I've always known it, aces in places, having the right people in the right positions. And that's so important. It's crucial to the business, but it's crucial to the person, to make sure that, they're comfortable and they're happy in their role and they thrive in that role. Because ultimately, if you're not enjoying it, you're probably not going to thrive in that role. So that's been something that we've struggled with. But I think we found ourselves now in a place where we've got phenomenal people, bums in the right seats. And yeah, I don't think we could ask for much more at the minute.
Brilliant. So we'll start with kind of a wee bit on the estate agency then. Where would you say we're kind of up to? What been up to in terms of the kind of development of that, and a wee bit an overview of where the estate agency team are at?
The estate agency side of things is in a really good place at the minute. We've got Charlotte, she's our lead agent. So she's kind of the go-to for the 3 other estate agents that we have at the minute, which is great. It's kind of, again, building on that sort of structure for the sales team side of things. It just means you've always got that go-to person that's there, which is great. And that's been really great for the guys to have that, and someone that they're really bought into as well. So that's all going really well. It's been really exciting to look at our targets for this year and what our plans are for growth, and what areas we really want to focus on and be better in, and excel in. So that's been really exciting. And again, just bringing people in from all walks of life. We talk a lot about how experience really isn't important to us. It's the right person, and I think we've seen that time and time again that as long as it's the right person and they display our values and they're bought into the mission, or as I always say, we're all on that same bus, no one's on the trailer, then it just feels great, and things seem to be going in a really great direction. I think the next 6 months for us is going to be crucial, but for me it feels really exciting.
Brilliant, superb. And I know we always bang on about how great we are. We're obviously very biased in here, but I know that we've had some phenomenal results starting to show through, or feedback, I should say, from clients. Do you want to maybe share a wee bit about that, like client satisfaction and things?
Absolutely. I mean, everyone might have seen on our social media recently, we have just hit an incredible milestone of 500 Google reviews, which is incredible. Actually, we've surpassed that now, so that is really exciting. And the important thing about that isn't to shout and rant and rave that we've got 500 reviews. It's that we've had clients that have had an incredible experience with with us and taking the time out of their day to go on and submit a review. And the reviews aren't just a sentence. If anyone takes any time to read them, they're paragraphs and paragraphs, which I think speaks volume about the experience that people have with us. We also have a kind of client survey that we send out at different stages of the client's journeys, kind of start, middle and end. So it's just really good to sort of, keep track of that. Of course, it's great to see if they're always having a great experience. I mean, often they're 8s and 9s and 10s, which is incredible. You can't ask for much more than that. But sometimes there are places that we do sort of slip, and it's always really important to try and pick that up as quickly as we can, and sort of see, okay, well, how can we utilise that bit of feedback to make us better? That's always what we're looking to do. Again, it's so great to be in an environment where we never just settle for good or for average. We're always striving for complete excellence and perfection, and we can't always be that, but trying to make sure that we're getting that honest feedback from clients to help us get that one step closer to that. So overall, we're sitting at a really, really strong score. We're sitting at just over 97% client satisfaction, which is absolutely incredible, considering that there's thousands of people that we've interacted with over the last few years. To be sitting at a score at that is a phenomenal reflection on our team. But again, the important thing from that is being able to take those bits that we're not so great at and how do we improve. So sitting at a really incredible place just now, phenomenal reflection on the team, but always areas to improve.
Aye, brilliant. Something I'm really, really proud of is that client satisfaction score is really, really important to us, because there's so many things that can go wrong in an estate agency or in the process of buying and selling a property.
Absolutely.
It can, there's all sorts of curveballs that get thrown, and it can be an uncomfortable process to go through. And we're always that, with the best, most respect I can ever give them, solicitors aren't really going to listen to anybody. It's usually an email back and forward, whereas because we are so super personal and approachable, WhatsApp chats, phone calls all the time, they can vent to us and they can share their frustrations with us. So we feel the effects of that, but we want to hear that, which is great.
Absolutely.
And I think that to get such a high score, such a credit to yourself and to the rest of the team for all their hard work. And what I love about that is that, like you said, when we do get that feedback that's maybe an area that we can improve on, we are all over that and implementing processes right off the back of it. And for me, that's a great culture to have.
Do I think, you were saying about kind of solicitors not particularly being in the process with the clients. I think that probably describes us pretty well. We are so bought into every single client's journey. It's not just another house sale or another client. It's, we're quite literally on the journey with them. And that, like you said, can vary so much between different circumstances and different situations and motivations for moving and things. But we're completely bought into that journey. And that's why I would say, myself and the team, we take such pride in that score and in every single review that's ever submitted, because we're so proud and we're so happy that our clients that we care so much about have had such an incredible experience with us. And it means so much more than there's another review or there's another client feedback score. It literally, I know the team, like they get so excited. Every review that's ever submitted is put right in the chat and we're all celebrating it, and it's amazing. It's so nice to see.
Brilliant. I'm really glad to hear it. Moving on then, so financial services, that's obviously, we're a few months into that now. How's everything going there, do you feel?
It's really starting to come together. So of course the great thing about it is we are wanting to keep it as consistent as possible. Obviously with the kind of launch of the two new areas of the business, we're just trying to keep the consistency as much as possible throughout all of them. So whether that be processes or whether that be the client experience, right the way through, we want to make sure that people feel that they're always interacting with Bridges. Doesn't matter if it's financial services, properties or property management, they know and feel it's Bridges. So just really trying to work on that. I think it's difficult when you're moving into a different part of the industry that they all have their own factors, don't they, that change and that impact how each part of it works. But just trying to create that structure and trying to create that organisation and trying to kind of keep that consistency, and things really are starting to take off now, which is exciting for us from a business perspective. But I think from a client perspective, the exciting thing is we can now offer that service and really help people. What we don't want it to be is just another mortgage service. We want it to be more than that. We want it to be about how can we help you? How can we take you on this journey. Because when you're looking for a house, it's not just a case of you found somewhere and you're buying it. And I mean, there are some rarities where that does happen, but 9 times out of 10, it's a long journey where you don't really know where to start. So the great thing is that we're now able to help people when they're buying to refer them through to James and the team, and they can help them start that journey and then take them right the way through. And again, even just the same with the process for Bridges Properties, right the way through until you pick up your keys for that new home. So that's all really exciting, and that's all starting to come together now, which is really good to see.
And last but not least, property management. Where are we at with that, and how are you feeling?
Really exciting time for the business, and even more exciting that Chris Bridges himself is leading that one. So I think for me, I joined the business Bridges Properties when we were 3 years into the journey, which been on that journey ever since has been really exciting. But I think to see that all over again, from scratch, and to see, how you and how we can build that business is really exciting. And the great thing is we've got such buy-in from the team. They're all so excited about it. And I think we all know and believe so strongly that it's going to be such a success, and we're going to be able to make such a success from it. Everyone's just absolutely buzzing. So yeah, obviously a long journey ahead of us, but we're all absolutely ready to go. So can't wait to see where we're at in a couple of months.
Aye, brilliant. This team, people just love a challenge, don't they?
Absolutely, they do. And I think that's something that I'm really proud of, 100%. That's definitely one of the biggest things I'm so proud of with, probably I would say my journey within Bridges Properties is the people. People development is a big passion of mine. But now looking at the team and seeing where they came from and where they're at now, it's something that is actually incredible to see. Charlotte, for example, so she's coming up for just 2 years with Bridges, and she's in the lead agent role. And none of the estate agents that have worked with us just now, they came from completely different backgrounds, weddings, civil service, all over. So I think, them coming in with no experience whatsoever and being in a place now where they're such a successful estate agency team is incredible. But that goes for everybody in here. They're also bought into their own development and to literally being the best they can be every single day. And I think, what I love the most about working here, and I do think I can speak to probably everybody, to speak for everybody when I say this, is that being somewhere where everybody wants to do something so special with their life, and it's genuinely not just that come here, work, go home environment. It's really not. And if that's what you're looking for, you'll hate it here.
Yep.
But if you're looking to throw yourself into something 110% and make, a real kind of special career for yourself, then this is absolutely the place for it. And I think everybody's absolutely bought in for that. So definitely one of the most special things about Bridges Properties, 100%.
Brilliant. I suppose I'll stick with the people theme as such. I actually seen this from an estate agency down south. In one of their videos, they said, we're not in the property business, we're in the people business.
Yeah.
I think that's so relevant for us, isn't it? If you think about people, whether that be clients or whether it be the team, that's really the business that we're in, about those relationships and things like that. But if we're looking at people then, and we're looking at, the right type of people who we're kind of looking for to join us on this kind of growth journey that we're on, what's your kind of thoughts on that?
I think experience is a big one, isn't it? That people always, there's that kind of debate around, do you want the experience or don't you want the experience? And a lot of people always say, experience is preferred. I think we would probably argue it's not preferred. We always want people that the most important thing is that it's people that are genuinely passionate about getting into the industry and getting into being the absolute best that they can be in whatever way that might look like. And if you've had experience in the industry before, that's great, but it doesn't necessarily mean that you're that person that's got that fire in your belly and that hunger and drive and ambition to be the best that you can be every day, even getting up on the days that you don't want to be that person and being that person anyway. And that's where the sort of grit and determination comes into play. There's days we all wake up and think, oh, I could really do without this, but coming in and showing up anyway. And I think that's where, we found these incredible people and we'll invest everything into that. Whether it's time, whether it's training, whatever that might be, we'll invest everything and give them all the tools necessary to then become great within the industry. But if you've got all of those attributes and you've got the right mindset, that's what matters most. So that's what we look for when speaking to people. So at the minute, we don't currently have any sort of roles available, but as the business is continuing to grow, the estate agency side, financial services, property management, there's definitely going to be roles that will start to come up, and they'll look all completely different, again, with different stages of growth of the business. We kind of not make up roles as we go along, but we like to sort of think outside the box and think, okay, well, it doesn't need to be a traditional role that we're going to hire for. It might be, okay, well, I think this might be what would work for us. Let's give it a go. So we've done that recently with the sales assistant role, and it's worked incredibly well. Kind of making sure that sales team have that assistance there. It's worked phenomenally well, and client care in terms of post, having an offer accepted is phenomenal. So the roles and things will look completely different, but I think the most important thing is having great conversations with great people. And making sure that we're kind of creating those relationships for when that right role does come up, we can kind of look at how they could kind of work in our business. So that's the most important thing, is being the right person that has those really special attributes to join something really special, and understand that it's not easy and it's going to take nothing but sheer hard work, determination, grit, but understanding that it'll be worth it in the end.
Big time. I think when I think about it, for you, for example, you came with industry experience. Sammy also came from experience in the industry, and you used to have, been amazing for the business, but for me, there's also been people that have came with absolutely no experience, but have got those fundamentals, those like non-negotiables that it takes to be successful here. So we've got great examples on both sides of that. So 100% I agree that it's again, it's probably quite cliche, but it's just looking for the right people rather than just ticking a box with experience. And I see this in from a good place is like there's so many people that I know that are successful and are doing well in the industry, but we wouldn't hire them. And that's there's places where you just kind of like find your own and you do things a certain way where you'll absolutely flourish. And for us, we're just looking for a specific type of person rather than, again, just kind of ticking that experience box. So it's a really important point. And has there been any, I know we've floated around kind of ideas on how we see, because if we're going to grow the business, I suppose we're going to need good people. We're going to need good people in the business. So I know we've floated around some ideas about how that might kind of work, haven't we?
I think that is something that really excites me personally anyway, and I think it's a really exciting sort of venture that could be explored for the business as a whole. We were speaking this morning about some sort of Bridges Academy type thing, which is really exciting, and obviously that's a real kind of future plan. But I think, again, going back to what I'd said, people development is something that's a real passion of mine. And it's funny, where I came from before, that was my first role in a estate agency, and all I ever knew was my manager at the time putting her arm around me and kind of going, let me teach you everything I know, like let's go and let me kind of share all my wisdom and knowledge with you. And that's kind of all I ever knew. So I think I've really adopted that and applied that in my roles here throughout all my kind of different roles. And I feel like it's really paid off, because the team, for example, that we've got, they're so strong, being in here all kind of over a year and venturing into their 2-year mark, and they're absolutely thriving in their roles. So that is something that's super exciting, is bringing in people that don't necessarily have the experience but have the want and the desire to get into the industry and be amazing in the industry, and taking them through that journey. And it's not easy. It's not going to be, you're on a couple of months training and that's you, away you go, you're the best estate agent that there is. It's ongoing, it's forever. I'm 7 years in the industry, and it doesn't stop, it never does. So that is something that's really exciting and that we're kind of looking into at the minute. We've had recently a couple of people in for work experience, which has been really, really nice, giving people a little bit of exposure to the industry, and I guess to our culture as well. And something that I really, really want to look at is doing some sort of kind of traineeship, apprenticeship type thing as well. At the minute, with all the craziness going on, it's probably not quite the time, but there absolutely will be a time and a place for that, and hopefully soon.
Brilliant. Suppose just to kind of wrap up then, what would you say you're most excited about what's coming next?
Well, that's a tough one. That's a tough one. I think seeing it all come together, I would probably say. I think just now it still probably feels a little bit bitty in the way of properties, financial services, and property management. But I know I've worked in places before where, you know, they all are in tandem with each other and they all work together. And I can't wait for us to get to that place. And I'm confident we will, because the team are also bought into every aspect of Bridges. I have no doubt that will happen, and it'll happen quickly. It's just really establishing, I think, Grims, it's probably more so in the financial services and property management side, just getting that established, getting it off the ground, getting a clear understanding of how we want it to work and how we want it to move forward. And I have no doubt that they'll all come together and we will absolutely be able to offer the best service in every way to our clients.
Brilliant, fantastic. Listen, you're doing an amazing job. I know the
Thank
team
you.
all feel that as well, so keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you.
And thanks very much for your time.
Thank you.